Hi, I'm Sam from Doyle.Lechner.Art. Thank you for coming along and watching the third video on my channel. So the picture is a watercolour painting in my sketchbook, something I want to use as a study, something I'm using as practice to get comfortable using watercolours again. There are many different ways to use watercolours. You can use wet on wet, wet on dry. In this case I've used wet on dry, and I've built each layer of the picture up using layer upon layer upon layer. So I'm hoping to create a sort of transparency that shows the delicateness of the petals of the flower. I'd like to give you a few tips on how to use watercolors, explain maybe one or two things. Not a tutorial, it's just a few tips. So watercolors you can use wet or dry. Here I'm going to use on dry first of all. I have the pigment only on my brush. Watercolor pigment can only go where water is. So with the brush, you can see with the watercolor on only the brush, you can see I have quite a lot of control. I can make marks, take the paint where only I want it to go. You can add water, it will be more fluid and go into those areas where the water is. Pigment is controlled by the water, so if you add it to an already watered area, wet on wet, as you can see, the pigment will go where the water is. Filling up larger areas of water and putting the pigment on, as you can see, the pigment goes all into the area where the water is. I can then move it around and control it as I wish. You can use tissue to lift the paint then and create different effects. This is how I use tissue to lift the paint to create my cloud effects. You can then add other colours, make other markings to create any different effects that you like. I personally like to use quite thin layers and build up my layers until I get to the effect that I'd like to create. As you can see, the colour only goes where the brush and water takes it. And when the pigment is very thin or is very watery, even when it's quite a dark colour, you can come back, use a tissue, and you'll see that if you've made a mistake, you can still lift it to create anything, tissue or brush, anything that can lift the water still. So I hope you have fun, and maybe you can try a few watercolors out, see what effects you can create with them. Have fun! And of course I've included my little drama dogs, Maddie and Rosie. I'd like to thank you again for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and click that bell button. Bye!